Paranormal Karen, she's so spooky. Paranormal Karen, funny too. Paranormal Karen, she's so spooky. Oh, we didn't mention she's funny too. Yeah, cha-cha-cha.
Hey everybody, welcome to a bonus episode of Paranormal Karen and with my great friend Wayne Poe. And also you guys, because this weekend is coming out one that is, it's the spiritual side of Corona. I'm trying to do a little non-Corona stuff because I think we're a little bit over it. So this episode, I think you guys remember a couple of bonus episodes when I was talking about the dark net. I read a letter from my friend. I can't remember if it was Timothy or Nick. And he's in Camarillo. And, I was telling him about Wayne Poe's great film, Hotel Camarillo, which I'm saying that wrong. Camarillo. Did I do it right?
Camarillo's okay.
Camarillo. And his movie that is fantastic it's one of my favorites. It's on Amazon. So we're going to direct you to that. And then we're just going to tell you some what to watches. This one's very light today. So, Wayne, how are you doing in this craziness?
I'm okay. I'm an essential worker, so I'm able to get out of the house at least.
Oh, that's right. You know, I think tarot reading over the phone is an essential worker because
there you go.
It's been busy and I hate to complain, but I totally had to take a week off because it was so much. But I'm back next week, folks, which will probably be when this is on. Yeah, it's interesting to watch the world slow down but still be working, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little weird around my city because the traffic still seems to be about the same. There must be a lot of essential workers where I live. I don't know. The lines at Starbucks are still long.
Wow. See, now I noticed because my street got very quiet, and now I think people are over it, and that's hot.
Yeah.
And they're out. So
yeah.
we may have broken the lockdown just a little bit, but you know, in California, when the sun's out, you can walk your dog and do stuff. It is weird to just go, oh, but I can't run to Target and pick up potting soil, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you got to order everything online. Then you order too much of things you don't really need.
You know, I've been the opposite, but I need new pots for my plants, and I ordered them, and then they were like curbside pickup at Target, and I was like, ooh, and I rode my bike, and the line was so long, I was like, no, I just canceled the order because I have to wait, you know, food lines for you know, Ralph's and Trader Joe's are long enough. But anyways, I said we weren't going to talk about Corona. Where did I go right off the bat? Where did I go? All right. So, Wayne, I want to go back to the beginning. Some of you may remember, Wayne, I think you were the third person I interviewed. Tell me how you got the inspiration for the movie that I love, Hotel Camarillo.
Well, I did my first documentary about Southern California ghost hunters, and everybody that I interviewed would talk about former Camarillo State Hospital, how haunted it is and how really, really active it is. And I even featured it a little bit in the first one. So I decided to make the second one about, you know, Camarillo State Hospital, since so many Southern California ghost hunters have gone there. And that was just it. And we had one person that had 10 years worth of investigative videos. And so, well, it's kind of a shame just to leave them, not anybody see anything like that, and maybe make people aware, because everybody knows about Rolling Hills Asylum and all the other high like Bobby Mackey's and things like that, but no one knows about this place, and everybody says it's scary as hell. So, somebody's got to make a documentary.
Was this Camarillo Mental Hospital? What was the name of it?
Camarillo State Mental Hospital, and I think right before it closed was Camarillo State Mental Hospital and
dance hall,
and I forgot. I completely forgot some rehab, something about rehab.
Right, and it's one of these places because I have an upcoming episode about a place called the Candlelight House, where you can talk about it forever because there's so much there, and mental hospitals are always so crazy haunted. And I know you are a skeptic, Wayne. Yes.
I'm open-minded skeptic.
Open-minded. Yes, you are open-minded. When you were in Camarillo, did you feel like it was different?
I never really feel anything on investigation for some reason, but but I heard things and I saw a few things that I couldn't explain.
Interesting. What did you see?
First thing I saw was there weren't orbs. The orbs are completely different, and I don't really believe in them anyway. I saw what some of the ghost hunters were called pixie lights, and to me it looked like, at first I thought somebody was in there with a laser pointer messing with us with a white laser pointer.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like little tiny lights like that zipping around. But then I realized that the laser pointer wasn't reflecting off walls. It was in the middle space of the hallway, like, by itself. And I know we don't have fireflies here, so I couldn't figure out what is that. And I asked one of the people I was with, "Oh, those are pixie lights when things are trying to manifest. We see those all the time." Just completely dismissive. I was like, I can't figure out what I'm seeing. Why are you so dismissive about this?
Interesting. I think I've seen those pixie lights, and sometimes they're blue, aren't they?
I've seen blue ones and white ones, and very rarely I saw like one red one time. That was it.
And they just said that's just something trying to manifest through. That's the only answer.
That was the explanation I was given. I like, who knows what it was? I mean, I tried to explain it logically, like, could it be dust, this and that, but it was making its own light. And unlike an orb, it wasn't reflecting off of anything. It was completely lit the entire time you see it, and it wasn't reflecting off walls or anything like that. I think I waited like 2 or 3 days to try to figure it out before I told somebody. Well, not except for the people that I was there with, But I tried everything to figure out a logical way why it couldn't be a ghost or anything,
Now, did you get any of it on tape, or it doesn't show on tape?
I filmed it when I filmed the first documentary. I was using digital tape. It was a really bad brick of a camera, and I filmed down the hallway, and I didn't catch it. But when I was there the second time for the entire documentary of Camarillo, I didn't see him one time.
Interesting. And you know what? Isn't that why some people use analog instead of digital? Because things can because it's not as consistent?
Yeah, there's a theory about that. I don't really, for audio, I really don't see a difference. If the sound is there, you'll capture it. It doesn't matter what medium you use.
Right.
It's just like anything. If you hear a bird or a door slam, it shouldn't matter. There's no magical, well, if I use a xylophone or whatever.
Right. Right.
I'm going to get it much better ghost voices,
Right. I mean, in picture, I always thought, and it's like such a minimal, it's like a half a millionth of a second that I remember in the beginning they used to say digital does something. In fact, when you look at online, those there's a lot of, you watch some of those weird UFO conspiracy ones about reptilians, and they always had this picture that Obama had a Secret Service guy that was a reptilian. And when you go back and watch how they debunk it, they were saying how video does an analog, which would be tape, is a stream. It's a constant, and digital often has these minuscule breaks where it just sort of distorted the guy's head and then someone stopped the tape right there. But it's interesting. I think I've only once caught pixie lights on tape, and it was at the Coach House. And it was a very, very interesting tape. But so now when people would talk about Camarillo State Hospital for years, what were some of, I know this is kind of creepy, but what are some of the horror stories about the place when it was running?
There's actually a novel. It's said to be based on a diary one of the nurses kept there in the 50s or 60s, and she wrote down all the horrible treatments and everything there. Staff dealing drugs, getting the doctors getting some of the female patients pregnant, aborting the kids, and there's supposedly tons of graves at Camarillo of dead babies just buried on the property. Patient deaths that were kind of, I guess, sketchy. So there's some patients buried there. This is all legend and story. I mean, I don't have any proof of this at all, really. But I've heard all that.
Did they tear it down?
A lot. Some of the buildings have been torn down. Others have been refurbished to be actually college dorms, because most of the campus is Cal State Channel Islands now. It's a college. But there's still some abandoned buildings there's a lot of abandoned buildings still on the property they haven't torn down or refurbished or done anything with. They just lock them up and forget about them.
Really? So some of those buildings are untouched and just locked up?
Yeah. That's the ones that are most interesting, really. When you have a chance to, if there's a door open, and you're not supposed to trespass, but
right.
If you just look in,
I was waiting. If you
just poke your head in and keep poking your head in until your head and body and feet are in.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
You and I would never trespass.
Of course not.
But hey, if we were out that way and we fell down right into the place, there's nothing you could do. That's very interesting. Now, have you heard anything about the kids having trouble in the dorms?
Yes. I haven't really interviewed anybody online, but the one time we were there just to do an investigation, some of the kids came up to us and recognized one of the people we were with because they saw the YouTube videos. They said, "Oh yeah, we hear things all the time. Some people won't go to the bathrooms by themselves, the big bathrooms," and they said they've heard kids crying in the stalls, and they go in there and there's nobody there. But it's weird. It's concentrated in a lot in the bathroom, even the new bathrooms they've built. Because some of those things were dorms where patients were living, and they just been reconfigured into classrooms and dorm rooms for the students.
I'm still. It's interesting. It makes me discouraged with mankind because, this is one of those things where we go, well, when did it close? And you think you're going to go 1920. That was, when we didn't. But it's like, no, when did this place close?
1997.
1997. We're still animals abusing people in mental hospitals in 1997. I wonder if the bathrooms, because I know there was that one particular ghost that you guys had a lot of activity with in a bathroom.
Oh yeah. That was Unit 44. Oh, they heard this really negative spirit stomping around when it figures out they were in there looking around for ghosts. They hear this angry spirit stomping around coming toward them. And one person that they were in the bathroom listening to all this, one person started being choked. She couldn't breathe. Like she said, she felt like something was choking her.
Interesting. And this would have been, if I remember the story right, there was a security guard that would come up and down, and there's a girl that cries in the bathroom?
Yeah, that particular bathroom in Unit 44, there was a girl one of the psychics we had with us one time said she was abused in a bathroom and standing there in her own mess and crying, and no one would help her. And then he said he also felt something kneeling in the corner laughing at her pain or something weird like that, Well, it was really I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I wonder if that's where the guards would take people to abuse them, is like the bathroom was the place instead of the rooms.
It could be. I mean, I read actual real stories. I have real paper clippings from patients there at Camarillo that hung themselves with towels and stuff in the bathroom.
Interesting.
And and you don't know if did they hang themselves or, you don't really know. I don't think there was a major investigation whether it was a murder or it was a suicide.
Wow. Wow. It just is fascinating. And I know you even have some of the old tapes. Who's that medium with the white hair that went through?
Oh, that was Peter James.
Yeah, he's pretty famous, and they got him, and you have a lot of footage of him going through that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was well known, especially with the Queen Mary and the Ghostwriter House, which I don't really believe in.
Where's the Ghostwriter House? I don't even think I've heard of that.
It's somewhere in L.A. where people would take Polaroids and you see writing like, "Hello, here I am," in the Polaroid photograph. Supposedly it would show up on when you take a picture.
Only on a Polaroid? Only on a Polaroid?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
So it's kind of an easy way to manipulate Polaroids. I mean, if you lay them down wrong, you got a big thing on your picture. So I'm pretty sure there's some. Let's just say I don't believe it at all.
Okay. I've never heard of it. You know what's the one? Well, really, the Jersey Devil is the only one I have trouble believing. I think that's just a different creature that New Jersey gave a name to or something. That one just doesn't work for me. But the underground tunnels in L.A., the that are supposed to have some kind of reptile people or something. Have you heard of those?
I haven't. I haven't heard of the reptile people. No.
Are they?
I know there's a lot of underground tunnels. Yeah, I know that.
Have you been to any of them?
No, I haven't. They've been. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're a bigger risk to get killed by a homeless person in those
true. Tunnels. Yeah. A lot of the tunnels are locked off, and you sort of have to know somebody and take a secret tour you're not supposed to be on. There's a lot of that going on, even around ghost hunters. There's places you absolutely cannot get into unless you know somebody.
Right. I know. So Camarillo. So it's not open for investigation now, but your documentary had some of the craziest stories, and it was so great because you watch a lot of ghost hunters, how they went about this. The interviews were great. There was one story that I thought was horrible about a fire that somebody started with a mattress.
Yeah, that was in that diary that the nurse kept. She said someone was screaming for hours and hours and no one would come to see them, so they put a mattress up against the wall and set it on fire and burned themselves. And for some reason, according to the book, no one knew what was going on until they saw like liquids and stuff coming under the door.
Oh, like
and then they smelled. They smelled something, so they finally opened the door. I don't know if it was an isolation ward or what, but that is one of the stories that was in the book.
Now,
that was Unit 44, the one that had the most negative activity.
Right. And did this guy know? Did they think they don't know what lit the mattress on fire? Now, the nurses and the orderlies didn't do it, right?
Not as far as I know, but I think back then patients were even allowed to smoke.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So
there's no foresight in that. Sure, let's give all the mental patients fire.
Right.
Wow. That's interesting. All right. So tell everybody where they can find, because I don't want to give away any more of the interesting and stories that go with it. Tell everybody where they can find that, your documentary.
Yeah, you can find them on Amazon Prime. It's Hotel Camarillo, and my first one's called Night Stalkers. They're both on Amazon Prime. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for free. And if not, it's only like a couple dollars to check them out.
What made you name it Hotel Camarillo?
Because everybody that there's a rumor that the song Hotel California was about Camarillo State Hospital because one of the people in the Eagles was there for drug treatment.
Oh.
But it's just a rumor, and the Eagles absolutely deny that's what it was about. They say it's about living in LA and how everything's superficial, and they got this really big philosophical idea of what Hotel California was about, but everybody thinks it matches Camarillo State Hospital because you go down a long winding road to get there. There's a mission bell. There's everything there at Camarillo. And so also whenever most of the time, whenever ghost hunters would go there to investigate, that song would keep coming up on the radio all the time.
Wow.
Just random, that song would come on.
Wow.
So that's why I named it Hotel Camarillo.
Did the Eagles deny that somebody went there altogether?
I believe so. They denied it. I guess they can't deny someone that had treatment. They just don't want to say it was a Camarillo.
Right.
So Camarillo had a drug and alcohol program there, but the Eagles say absolutely deny that song is about Camarillo State Hospital.
That's interesting. I also wonder if it was like a girlfriend or a brother, or it wasn't one of them. It was somebody they really can't put out there. But man, also maybe they'd get sued. Would have gotten sued by the hospital. Maybe.
Right. Yeah, it could be. I got the name of the person that was supposedly there.
Oh, really? Oh, so it's right out there. Wow. Well, maybe.
Should we say it?
You can if you want, if it's out there. And which one was it?
Supposedly it was Don Henley.
Wow. There was the other, I don't think it was Don Henley. I think it was the other one that was in the TV show Wise Guys. That one was my favorite.
Oh, okay.
You know what, though? That song is so grim that maybe they were worried about being sued by the hotel.
Yeah, that could be.
And that definitely wasn't about the stay on Main. What is that one? That one was that's
Hotel Cecil.
Yeah, you just can't. That has been knocked down. I think there's nothing there right now. But that to me seems like. Did you ever? You said you went in and you were in the lobby, but you never went investigating there.
Yeah, they wouldn't let you go past the lobby unless you're actually booking a room.
Wow.
They have security guards at the stairs and at the elevator and everything.
That's amazing that they have that, because I don't know if folks remember, maybe I should do a whole podcast on the Cecil. I think I'm going to do a whole podcast on the Cecil, so I'll leave that there. American Horror Story did one season on it. So, all right. So everybody go watch Hotel Camarillo by Wayne Poe. I promise you, I loved this film. There's so much inside ghost hunting stuff. There's so much great footage. And my favorite scene is when something scared everyone and they all screamed like little girls. It was Sid and it was somebody else. And I'll tell you what, because that happens to me a lot. And I know we're supposed to be like brave, but when something startles you, you scream. And that was one of my favorite scenes because nobody makes fun of it, But okay, so let's get into what else to watch, Wayne. I have a couple of suggestions for people while they are in quarantine. How about you? You give me your first one. What is something everybody should be watching?
Well, I fell into the trap and watched Tiger King on Netflix.
Okay, I can't watch that one because the animals hurt. But so it's that good.
It's like a math train wreck. You just can't pull your eyes away from. It's like a methane fueled.
Okay.
A weird. It's strange. It's so strange. It's very strange. You just gotta watch it, even if you wanted to. It's almost
surreal.
I don't know. It's surreal. Yeah, it's so weird.
All right, I gotta look into. Well, no, I can't watch the animal ones. All right, so I have a couple. The first one, I'm currently obsessed with What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
On FX. I think, because I don't watch a lot of sitcoms for some reason. The last pretty long time, I've been kind of on that where because I see comedy every night. This show, from the get-go, I'm going to watch it again. It's on Hulu, folks, and it's on FX, and it's they're making a documentary about vampires. Now, you said you saw the movie and you loved it.
Yes, it was great. It's great. It's really funny.
It's super funny, and there's a lot of for folks that it's not, you don't have to be a horror fan. It's actually, there's an emotional vampire in it that is so funny, that metaphor. And I think everybody, if at the very least, that's my sister's favorite character, everybody has to watch that because it's so good. All right, so you got another one?
Better Call Saul that just finished its 5th season.
Oh yes,
I like the entire show. It's basically like a prequel to Breaking Bad,
mm-hmm.
and it's a really good. It's almost better than Breaking Bad. Really, it's a really good show.
Yeah, it's different.
So I would definitely watch that. And I got something. There's a weird one on YouTube. There's a channel called GTO GTOGER, and it's weird. It's all it is basically it's a parking lot behind a business in Texas, and they have like 60 or 70 cameras, and people go there and park in their parking spaces when they're not supposed to, and they get towed. That's pretty much what it is. But except the guy adds commentary. He shows the cars being towed with sound effects. He shows the people coming back later, wondering where their car is, and all the drama that happens. And he adds special effects, and it's for some reason it's entertaining as hell.
Wow, GTO GR?
GTOGER. That's the name of the channel on YouTube.
Okay, that's hysterical.
I don't know why I don't know why it's so. I got me interested, but it's so much fun to watch. Maybe watch other people's pain as they get their cars towed when they park where they're not supposed to be. I don't know.
Wow, that's all right. Well, you know what? Anything could be funny. I know there's a comedian named Tom Kenny, and one of his favorite jokes for me was, how did the pitch meeting go for Hogan's Heroes? Who okayed that? Listen, it's about a bunch of American prisoners of war having a great time in a Nazi concentration. It was like, you know what I mean? Like, they're right. Also, how many times can you get off an island? Gilligan's Island.
Right, yeah. That's when everybody had a lot of imagination. You had I Dream of Jeannie at that time, the Munsters, and
yes.
Just like way out there TV shows, and it doesn't seem nobody does that anymore.
No. Well, I'll tell you this, especially in that movie, and I don't know if it's I know the original guy in the movie. I know who he is, but in the series, especially the first 2 episodes of the last season are so creative and so out of the box. I can't even tell you. And there's this one character that every single thing he says, I think his name is Norad. I don't even know his makes me laugh every single thing he says. So okay, so now I have a really scary one for everyone that I believe it's on Amazon Prime. You may need to look for it and you may need to pay for it, but it is called Apparitions, and it is an English series. The English do that like that. They show you like 6 episodes, and it's about a priest, and it's about demons. And I believe it was Tommy I talked to. It's pretty right on. It's not crazy special effects. It's a drama, and it was somebody that knew their stuff that put it together. And it ends with them looking like they're making a second season, but they didn't. But it's called Apparitions, and you'll see this really handsome English guy that's a priest. I think he has no, he doesn't have a mustache, but he's a really handsome, older looking guy. And there's only 6 episodes, and it's nail biting good. It's a white knuckle thing.
Oh, I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, it's very, there's a lot of stuff about the Catholic Church in it, and it just is really good, but don't watch it alone. You know, sometimes like Annabelle and It, I was like, that's fine. But something like this, I feel like, oh, now I'm going to see that in my nightmares because it feels very real. Okay, got another one?
Nothing else is coming to mind right now. I mean, I've watched, of course, The Walking Dead whenever it's on. I don't know the exact schedule for that.
I haven't gotten on that boat yet. Okay, so I got another one that is called, and and I'm gonna hang on. I got to look it up while we're talking. This is another kind of mockumentary, and it is called Behind the Mask. The tale of. I found this very funny. Hang on, because there's 400 movies named that, so I have to find the one Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Leslie Vernon, Vermon. Behind the Mask. It was one of the first I'd ever seen. It's a little bit older. Somebody making a documentary about a guy that is the lead character in the horror film. And it kind of starts out as a silly comedy, and then it kind of turns into a horror movie, and then it's just really, really good.
Oh, wow. It sounds like that movie they did. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a behind-the-scenes kind of story about Nosferatu.
Oh, what is that one?
Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but they have the guy, and he's actually a vampire, and no one really knows he is. But they just think he's a great actor. It's a fictional behind the scenes storytelling of the actual movie Nosferatu.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember the name of it right now, but it came out about 20 years ago.
You know, now that we're sitting here doing this, there was a film about it was very, very interesting. Hang on, I'm going to pause this 1 second and find it. Okay, we're back up. Okay, this one is called The Imposter, and it's a true story, and it's a documentary about a kid that goes missing, and the whole time they think they have found him in Italy. This is all I'm telling you. It's obviously called Imposter, so we don't know. Is he an imposter or is he not? You will be scratching your head through the whole thing. But wait, but what? And then at the end, you'll kind of have your own theory. But it's from 2012, and it was fascinating. It moves a little slow in the beginning, but it's just, they're actually interviewing the guy that came back and said he was this little kid from Texas. And it's it's just a little slow, but it's just crazy. Okay. And I have one more, which is The Others with Nicole Kidman.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have seen that. It's just very, very, very good.
There's one I saw. They used to have movie nights at, Linda Vista Hospital.
Oh my God!
And there was one movie that called The Orphanage, I believe it was called, and I think it was a Spanish language movie, and that was pretty scary.
Was it?
It was about somebody coming back. Actually, someone, I think it was buying a house that used to be an orphanage for kids, and the woman is slowly figuring out this place was very, very familiar to her. And she starts seeing things, and I don't want to give anything away, but that was really good. That was a really good movie.
87% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's good. That's good. Yes, The Orphanage.
The Orphanage?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if they remade it though. You said, would it be in? It's 20. Oh, it's only 1 hour 47 minutes. Okay. It looks like there's only one. So maybe they didn't read. Sometimes when they... Oh, yeah. What's this guy? Guillermo del Toro made it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, In the Shape of Water. I haven't seen that. There's one more. I'm trying to think of one more odd one. It was right on the tip of my tongue. I will tell this last story about when I was in... I think I've already told this on the podcast, so I apologize if you've already heard it, folks. I was in San Francisco doing the San Francisco comedy competition. This is when I was very, very new in comedy. And comedy competitions are so stressful, and they trigger everything that you are about, because you don't think you're competitive. You're just competing with yourself, all those things. But then you get in this atmosphere, and comedy is so like not only different, like everybody likes something different, but you can have the best set and still lose that night in the contest. Like it's crazy making. And I was really new to comedy, and I went back to my hotel room, and it was like just making me crazy. And I turned on HBO, and they had a film on there called The Refrigerator that was about a possessed refrigerator. and and this weird plumber that would like have his snake attached to his belt, so it kind of looked like a penis. And it was all this crazy. It was so completely insane that I couldn't take my eyes off of it. And it became like this obsession, like, we've got to find this film. Me and my friend Eric never found the film. I think 15 years later, my friend Eric is applying for a job at the American Film AFI, at the AFI, American Film Institute. Yeah. And he's talking to his directors, interviewing him, and he looks up, and on the top shelf, he sees The Refrigerator. And Eric goes, "Is that your film, The Refrigerator?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, that was my student film. It was just, terrible, whatever. We just got through it." And my friend Eric is like, "My friend talks about that film all the time. She can't get over it." And it turns out he didn't get the job. And I think it's because the film was so bad. The guy thought Eric was yanking him about the film being so good. But I was like obsessed with it. So anybody, if you can find The Refrigerator, it's got to be from the 70s or 80s, I think. But anyways, well, Wayne, thanks so much for coming on. I think we got away from Corona, didn't we, for a minute?
We did for a minute, yeah.
All right, everybody.
I'm not wearing a mask right now, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting my mask. And I feel bad in the grocery store because I know for those people I should be wearing a mask. So I'll try and do better. But all right, folks. Thanks, Wayne, for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. This was great. I love it every time I'm on.
Yeah, I love hanging with you. We got to have you on more often. Folks, you're going to check out Hotel Camarillo on Amazon, or if you have Amazon Prime, it's free. You're going to love it. And then I hope you enjoyed sort of this lighthearted bonus episode. Tune in this Friday. We're going hard and heavy again. All right, everybody, have a great day.